Hi everybody, I am Heidi with Healing Harvest Homestead, and today I've got um, a little chat with you about the best essential oils for making handmade soap. I've been making handmade soap for a long time, years and years and years, and there's seriously nothing better than your own handmade soap. In fact, I love it so much I actually created a soap making course, and it's really great. It's got step-by-step videos, like literally they're short and they're step by step. So you can watch that, and people have had great success. In fact, I even have some students who are now proud owners of soap making businesses. And it all started with my course, so I'll put a link below. It's a great course. It comes with a full book and videos, and it's I highly recommend it. Anyhow, I was getting into my cupboard where I keep my essential oils for soap, and now these are very different than the essential oils that I use in my consultations and my aromatherapy practice. These essential oils are slightly different. I'm going to explain why. But I was in my cupboard and I was cleaning out my old oils and turning over what I need to replace, and was just looking at the different oils that I have, and I decided that I would go ahead and do a video for you about my favorites. I did write an article on this on my website a few years ago, and I just updated it and it's out again. I'll put the link in the description below, but I go into all of the oils and why they're my favorite for soap making. So a couple of things I want to talk about before I get into the actual oils is the fact that soap is a wash-off product, okay? So, which is great. You take your soap, and here I've got some lovely patchouli, and you lather it up, you rub it on your skin, and you rinse it off immediately, right? We don't let soap sit on our skin. So although we need to be careful about topical maximum dilutions of your essential oils, it's not as vital with soap because, again, it's rinsing right off, right? And that's wonderful. So you can really play around with some scents that otherwise you probably would not want to be putting on your skin, like some of the citrus oils are phototoxic. Other oils are phototoxic. Some of them are sensitizing. So you do need to be just aware of that. And if you're making soap for yourself and your family, you'll probably have an idea of what sensitizes you or what you're sensitive to. But if you're selling soap, I suggest sticking with the very safe essential oils and at least knowing what the topical maximums are. So I've left a couple links in the article where you can go for safety information. One of the places I like to go for safety information and essential oils is this book. I've had it for quite a while, but this is Dr. Tisserand and Rodney Young's book, Essential Oil Safety. It's kind of the go-to essential oil safety standard in the aromatherapy industry. And again, they're going to give you topical dilution maximums for each of the oils. But remember, again, soap is a rinse-off product. It's not like it's a lotion or a cream that's sitting on your skin. So just be careful with your essential oils and avoid the hot ones, which I've actually got some hot ones in here. At any rate, I pulled out my favorites. I'm just going to give you a really fast rundown of each one and tell you why it's my favorite or one of my favorites to use. Now, obviously, usually when I'm making soap, I blend things together and make different fragrances, and it's so much fun. And when you do that, you can use a hot oil mixed with a very safe oil, and you're going to have a safer soap. So just a thought on that too. And I will kind of talk about which ones are the hot ones and the ones you need to avoid with certain people. But generally speaking, again, soap is very safe, especially if you're using really good ingredients. And since we're talking about ingredients, let me just mention that a lot of soap makers will use fragrance oils for their soaps. I don't like fragrance oils. They're full of chemicals. They are not natural. There's a lot of synthetic material and chemicals in them, and frankly, I don't want that on my skin. No, I like real essential oils. The other thing is that essential oils are expensive. And so the essential oils I chose for you in this list are going to be on the more reasonably priced side. Okay, and you can see I do make a lot of soap, so I've got bulk essential oils. Most people are not going to buy essential oils in this quantity, okay, but I love making soap, and so I have them. And some of these oils I've had for years and years and years, and depending on the shelf life of the oil, some oils will last up to 10 years or longer, like patchouli. So anyhow, we're not going to get into shelf life today, but let's go ahead and talk about my favorite essential oils for soap making. So the first one, and these are in ABC order, these are not in any kind of special order, but this is anise star, and this is Pimpinella anisum. I love saying that name. That's the Latin name of it. Anise smells like licorice, like beautiful licorice. It's got a sweet overtone, and it's a spice. It blends really, really well with other spice oils and with patchouli and with the other woods oils. It's wonderful. So that's a favorite. And again, I've got so many here, I'm just going to kind of go through them fast. The next one up is benzoin. Benzoin is a wonderful substitute for vanilla. That's what I use it for in my soap making. So you'll come across lots of scent blends that include vanilla, and vanilla is expensive. It's really, really expensive. But when I discovered benzoin years ago, I was like, wow, this smells just like vanilla, and it's wonderful. The biggest problem with benzoin is that it's a resin and it's rather thick, so you need to be patient with it. Next up, I've got cinnamon leaf. And I do not use cinnamon bark on any skincare products usually. I mean, I'm pretty careful with it. But cinnamon leaf is less hot than the bark is. So I like to use cinnamon leaf in my different soap making if I want that cinnamon overtone and the spicy scent. I just really love it. Next up is clove. Clove is another one of those oils that you need to be aware of a topical maximum. There's a chemical called eugenol in clove oil, and it can be sensitizing for some people. But again, in soap making, it's likely very, very safe. I have never once had a problem with any customer or person having any issues with my soap. Not ever. Not in a jillion years. Not to say it won't happen, but I'm very, very careful. All right. And again, safety-wise, essential oils are way better than fragrance oils. All right, next up is eucalyptus. I like to use eucalyptus when I'm making a refreshing soap, and I love blending it with lavender and a little bit of peppermint. Eucalyptus is one of those oils that you should not use with children under the age of 10 without, some careful consideration and knowledge. Okay, so again, it's soap, it will rinse off. However, the fumes, if you're using a high dilution of essential oils in your soap, which I kind of tend to do, I'm a little heavy-handed with my scents. A lot of people like lighter scents, but you do need to be very careful with some of these, and eucalyptus is one of them. But if you're a grown-up and you're using soap and you want to take a nice shower and open up your sinuses, you can use one of those shower soother things. Often they have eucalyptus, and it's wonderful in soap too. And you'll just wake up and feel refreshed and energized, and you'll have clear sinuses. It's wonderful. Next up, frankincense. I love frankincense. It's safe, and for one thing, and for another thing, it smells pretty good. It's got kind of I know turpentine doesn't smell good for most people, but it kind of has that woodsy aroma of resin, and I like it because it's really good for your skin. Frankincense is one of those essential oils that have actually been studied for healing skin quickly. Next up is grapefruit. I love grapefruit. It's energizing and it's uplifting. It's a beautiful citrus oil. It is phototoxic. However, once again, with soap, you are not letting it sit on your skin. Next up is lavender. Lavender is extremely safe and it smells beautiful. It mixes well with a lot of different essential oils, and it's one of my favorites to use in soap making. Up next is lemongrass. Lemongrass is really great. It has obviously the scent of lemon, but the thing with it is that it's very deep and heavy. So It's really more of a base oil in your scent, whereas if you were using lemon essential oil, that would be a top note because it dissipates quickly. So when I'm creating soap blends or scent blends that contain lemon or grapefruit or tangerine or any of the citrus oils, which tend to evaporate fast, I like to add a little bit of lemongrass because lemongrass grounds those citrus scents into the oil. Very helpful with your soap making. Next up is tangerine. I love tangerine, also mandarin. They're the same exact plant. It's Citrus reticulata. So you might find tangerine as mandarin. You might find mandarin as tangerine. Either or, they're the same thing. But I love using tangerine, and it's not phototoxic, by the way. But I love it because it, like all the citruses, is uplifting, it's joyful, it's soft. It's not as pungent as like orange or lemon. And I really like it for children. I really love it for children. In fact, chamomile essential oil is very expensive, but one of my favorite blends is to mix tangerine with chamomile, and it's just amazing. And you can, if you are into herbs like I am, you can infuse your oils with the herb as well. So you can actually use a chamomile infused olive oil and mix it with some of the essential oil and your tangerine and make a lovely soap that way. Next up is orange. I love orange for the same reasons I love tangerine. It's just a little more powerful. The next up is patchouli. You guys, patchouli is one of those love or hate oils. I understand this. But I love it because it's really my favorite oil to ground those lighter oils into the soap. And because it blends so well with other things, you don't smell the strong patchouli coming out of the soap. What you smell is a lovely aroma. Okay, so patchouli is one of my favorite to use in my soap making blends. And honestly, some people just love patchouli, and so you could only use patchouli if you wanted to and have a patchouli soap like this one here. All right, next up is peppermint. Now, peppermint is a hot oil, okay? Meaning it will make your skin tingle, it affects your skin. It's also very cooling in terms of, it cools your body down. But in terms of your skin, it can sensitize your skin. It's very powerful. Peppermint, like eucalyptus, is not indicated for children under 10. So if you want to use a mint with your handmade soap and you have children, I suggest you switch over to spearmint because spearmint is softer and far more gentle for children than peppermint. But I love peppermint for energizing soaps. So using it with eucalyptus and rosemary and, mint, the peppermint together, or the spearmint, is really nice. Gives you a beautiful wake-up shower. Next up is pine. Pine is great because it's an evergreen and most men love pine. And what I like mixing pine with is frankincense. Frankincense pine with a little bit of patchouli is a wonderful blend for soap, and it just smells delicious, and men tend to really love it. Another essential oil that's not in this list that men do like is cedar wood. I should just do a video on the scents for men. It's really fun. Okay, next up is rosemary. Rosemary is very energizing, and there is some people, some aromatherapists believe that rosemary should not be used by people who suffer from hypertension. However, according to Tisserand and Young, there's actually no scientific evidence of that. So this is where you just need to be aware of your own body. I love rosemary essential oil, but I know that when I diffuse it for too long, I start feeling not very good. And this is something that's just individual to my body. So I am aware that when I diffuse essential oils that have rosemary, I only want a little bit. So just a thought on that. Always look into all of your essential oils that you use for anything you make. Be sure that you are very educated about the essential oils. And the herbs too. With that said, they're still far safer than fragrance oils. Next up is tea tree. Tea tree is a very safe oil. It's wonderful. It's antimicrobial, it's antiviral, it's anti-everything, antifungal. It's wonderful. So I love using tea tree in more medicinal type soaps, and it mixes well with lavender. Lavender and tea tree are a fabulous combination. If you're a person who suffers from fungal skin infections and things like that, washing with a soap that contains tea tree, lavender, it's going to be a really good soap for you. All right, and finally I've got wintergreen here. I actually don't use wintergreen very often, but sometimes for my husband especially, I'll go ahead and add a little bit of it in because it does help with aches and pains, and I like it for that too. Again, soap is a rinse-off product. I keep saying that, so but that means it's not going to have the power of using it in a massage oil or a rub or things like that, but it is very analgesic. With that said, the scent of wintergreen is really nice. You probably remember wintergreen gum if you're my age. And a lot of people where wintergreen grows naturally will just chew on the leaves. And it's a really nice scent and a nice taste. Okay, so that was a very quick rundown of some of my very favorite essential oils. I'm going to have to unfortunately dispose of a couple of these because they are past they're past where I'm comfortable using them. I probably could still use them, but I'm not really comfortable with that. So you might be wondering, what do you do with old essential oils? My favorite thing to do with them is to use them in cleaning products because they're not going on your skin. You can also use them in room sprays and your diffuser if they're not, again, touching the skin. Okay, so that's a little rundown of my favorite essential oils for soap making. And one other thing I want to just mention here is my favorite place to buy essential oils for soap making is Star West Botanicals, and that's because you can buy in larger containers like this, and it's not super expensive, but you're still getting a high quality oil, and that's what you want. I'm very, very careful with my soap making oils. I used to buy an essential oil from a company and I found out that it just wasn't good, and when I compared it to Star West, the oils, I could tell a really huge difference. So basically I don't buy from them anymore. I only buy soap making oils from Star West Botanicals for those two reasons: price and quality. And I also want to talk about the difference between soap making essential oils and therapeutic essential oils. Now, I can use the Star West Botanicals essential oils as therapeutic oils. They're that good. But generally speaking, I'm just really, really careful. And when I'm using essential oils that are going into massage oils or lotions or skincare products or, even anything I might touch or that another person might touch, I use the therapeutic oils. And I have a list of companies that I buy those from too. The thing with your therapeutic oils is that you're buying super small amounts. Like you're buying 1/3 of an ounce to maybe 1/2 of an ounce of essential oil. And that's not going to give you enough essential oil to scent your soap. So that's why, having a little bit more essential oil is helpful when you're soap making. All right. I hope this was helpful. And I hope you have a really wonderful day. Check out my soap making course. And if you're interested in creating a home apothecary for yourself, which I think everybody should have, that's completely herbal and essential oil based, I would like you to get on the wait list for Ditch the Drugstore. It's wonderful. And I also have some free things for you. So look in the description below. You'll see some links there, and you can pick and choose what you want to do. Oh, and also we have a natural living community where we do have a natural skincare topic section. It's kind of like a private Facebook group, but this community of ours is off social media. There are no prying eyes. It's completely private. So join us there. The link's in the description. All right, you guys, have fun making soap. I will see you in the next video.